Levi or anything like that, but he was kind of a regular person, just kind of a working man, like a lot of us are. And he was there, but he barely found me my feet, I was to work every day. And with his wages, and like just overall pretty good person. Son of John, his brother Andrew, was born, let's say that I think he's one of the first disciples that Jesus chose. So he was pretty much there when Jesus' work began. He was there when it was pretty much finished on this earth. It was not finished for him. It just getting him started good. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers gathered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. I think this would be Turkey today. All these countries included in Turkey today. And oftentimes through the ages, you hear about strangers that would be mentioned, and generally speaking, it would be people other than the Jews. It would be people that would come in and be agreeable with living the lifestyle with Jews. But I don't think it means that this situation seems like this. It's probably Jews that were scattered because of the oppression of the Romans. So it no doubt could possibly be some Gentile believers too, some proselytes. Elect, according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ. Grace unto you, peace be multiplied. This thing about the elect, when you think about an election, generally it's a person that at least there is some respect, honor for, and people's desire to put them in a place that is a special place. And no doubt that's where we are. This letter was written a long time ago to a group of people, but no doubt it's reserved for our benefit as well. So this elect is by appointment. It's not by any merit. Appointment. And obviously in accordance to God's will. The foreknowledge of God. You think of that. When I first read this, I was kind of troubled with the way it sounded. I couldn't figure out how there'd be anything before God that he wouldn't know about. Of course, it doesn't mean that at all. The foreknowledge is no doubt the plan that God had for us to become people that will come later. There's no foreknowledge or after knowledge of God. This is foolishness, or rather, it's a plan. And with this election or appointment, God provided this plan a long time ago, and it is a free gift, but it is dependent on obedience to the heavenly call. And so there are some responsibilities and requirements with this. And if we don't like those responsibilities, don't like the requirements, we don't want to cooperate. If we won't be a part of it, we lose our place. And the sanctification of the Spirit is something that I guess all Christians enjoy today. It's something that's with us, and it's renewing a invisible, powerful force that is with all of us that help us to survive. That is, I don't suppose, good. Purifying and influence on our soul. For a long time in my life, I had kind of difficulty trying to separate the difference in the soul and the spirit. It seems like, I hope I'm not oversimplifying this, but it seems like the soul is always connected to the body. In fact, sometimes their souls are mentioned, it pretty much means the body and the soul, and that existence. But the spirit seems to be something that is above all of that. And no doubt there are evil spirits, there are good spirits, evil spirits. But the spirit is something that seems to be kind of hovering above mankind. And God's Spirit is worked with that Spirit to help us to survive, to live, and to do things. We say the same thing that we should while we're walking this earth. It's a powerful force. And like I said, there are no evil spirit. Satan is a terrible evil spirit. He is close by, unless we resist it. We must flee from it. By the power of God's Spirit, we must flee from it. Blessed be the God and Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to his abundant mercy has begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is, we see this off and on, we see something about blessed be God, God is blessed. When you have anything that God needs, you have anything that we desire, we have to have. You don't own anything. When you can take a sack full of gold or diamond and you take it to the governor or the president or something, say, here you go. No doubt, in Solomon's time, they came and brought things from all over the world to me. So, okay, thank you, put it in files. But God's not like that. He had no need of anything. He does have some desires, so he does. He would like to hear our honor, and our gratitude, and our love, our obedience, our praise. Other than that, he doesn't need anything. So this is blessed of God, in Hebrews, I think, 7th chapter, where it's talking about Abraham. And it talks about Abraham that came and met him and gave him a 10th part of the spoil. And then it says, if I can, in the 7th chapter, Hebrews, and 7th verse, he's been talking about Abraham giving the spoils to him, and then it says that he was blessed by him that had the promises. And without all contradiction, the rest is blessed with the better. So you can see that there's really no way that we could ever bless God. But we can please God. We can give him some of the things that he wants. He let us deserve all honor and praise and thank you. So, and then the begotten part, I don't know for sure if this is something that Peter, he was whatever he believed in, he was all there. I mean, he was all in business. He was ready to go. But he, like all of us, I guess, from time to time, our faith can be shaken a little bit. Obviously, his was. He walked with Jesus, and I think, like all the Jews, he had an idea that even though this is not what Jesus was telling him, and all of those around him, he was doing things, showing his great power. And a lot of people, even though that's not what he said, they had the idea because they were under this previous control of the Romans, and they thought he was going to straighten all this out. The Jews would be top and known, and everything's going to be great. We're going to be the city on the hill. And they had strong confidence that this Messiah would do this. And when Jesus allowed himself this lively hope they had whenever Jesus allowed himself to be taken, he told them what he was going to do. They couldn't really completely understand it. So their faith was a little bit shaken when he allowed himself to be taken and killed. And they saw this dead body put in the ground. They were really troubled by that. But their resurrection brought their hope alive again. I don't know if that's the full meaning of this begotten, but possibly as far as Peter himself is concerned. But aren't we not begotten when we arose from the grave of baptism, the watery grave? So we fully believe that Jesus arose from that grave. We're begotten children, heirs of God. And this thing about God's mercy, I don't think we can comprehend it. there was oftentimes in that psalm, they make a little statement said in mercy a lot of times. And the repetitive, but even all that repetition, I don't think we get the full meaning about God's mercy. You think about all through the ages that people have, when it's like the city of Nineveh, there's some evil people, there's no question about that. It's all through the ages, God has allowed nations and areas and groups of people, He allowed them to go along for quite some time before He brought His punishment down with His indignation. But even then, when they repented, He would forgive. He would set their sins to the side. Abundant mercy. Nowhere else can it be found. Your inheritance. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the full statement. Blessed be God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to His abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. So by His sacrifice, we can come back and be children of God. To an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you. We're kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last day. So this inheritance belongs to children, and if there's no children involved, there's no inheritance. There are a lot of people that would like to be children, can't be. So there's stubbornness and hard-headedness, and pride and arrogance, selfishness and greed. They can set those things to the side, and they can be children and have an inheritance too. But the inheritance is reserved for children. And in our time, even our laws today, our laws provide for that. It's reserved for the children of the parent fathers. And then it says we are kept. We are kept. We are defended and guarded by the power of God. Even in any nation or any government, there will be those that stand with that guard the one that's in an honored position. And it says we are kept. That is the guard. That's the what kind of guard compared to the power of God that guard us. And we can move outside and we can go out to the perimeter and where the guards are. And if we don't like the situation, we can get out of that situation. We can step out of it. As Christians, if we're fully convinced, we know what's right and wrong. We understand that we are children of God and what the value of that is. We can never do that. Says we're kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last day. So we have this, it's here, and it's guarded, it's protected, and it'll be available, and it will be seen in the last days. Wherein we greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than that of gold, that perisheth. That perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ. Can you imagine this position here? And we have had some temptations, and we will. I don't think we have anything like some of these poor people have back in these days. When you hear about some of those that I'm worried about that in my life. About these poor people, they would be trying to oppose him. They could be untied. They would renounce Jesus. You know, the kind of work that I do, I give it a torch off and I wear it and I start things. Occasionally I get some. One time I got a big balls of molten metal that went down and I threw my tennis shoe between my toes and threw that dive. spot, and I think about, am I strong enough? What if it can set me on fire? This is going to be an awful death, probably the most awful death there is. I can get out of this. I say, okay, you go. Or will I stand there, set the fire, set it on fire? I don't know. You think about some of the trial, these poor people, just think about this, that we're not any immediate pain. I mean, everybody in here, we own something, you know, we got some little possessions that we have, some of it houses and stuff like that, and cars and things. Some of these people that right here that they're talking about, they have to just leave, just get up and leave. If we do that, that'd be something. It says right here that this is something we can do these things. And he talks about being tried by fire, but that's, I don't really understand that about gold, but it's hard for me to imagine. I don't have any fancy cars or equipment. I got a lot of equipment that look like that. I got a lot of tools and things like that. It would be a hardship on me to just turn around and walk off, not getting it. I could just walk off to Mexico or somewhere like that. That'd be a hardship. But down here, this is something that's almost hard to comprehend. It says, Lord, we tried this struggle we're having it, and go ahead and do it. And it said, if we tried the fire, Lord, we tried the fire, might have found unto praise and honor and glory as their good. So God would actually show nothing man. God would show some honor to us because we love and honor Him. It's almost too much to understand. You see a trial that's good. You know, when we're exercising for some kind of a sporting event, you know, trying to get shape or something like that, we run or we lift something like that, tired, it's painful, you know, but we do it because they run us some sort of reward. But if we see the trials of this life as something that's good, you know, sometimes we have opportunities to either do something that's easy, take the easy way out, or we do the hard way. And oftentimes, human nature is to just go the easy way. And we don't really appreciate trials. You look far enough, can you imagine looking off and Jesus saying, well done, good job there. You know, that would be a wonderful time, wouldn't it? We rejoice, it says, greatly rejoice. Greatly rejoice at trouble, at a hardship. When we come to it, we're better for it, right? We're stronger, we're better. We rejoice because we know that we have God's guidance and His keeping word we suffer, what wounds we suffer, the trouble we suffer. We have His healing, protection, mercy, forgiveness, salvation. I think it's all worthwhile. The poor people were exposed to some troublesome times, really troublesome times. It may be that now that they've kind of gotten away, that there will be a little while of relief for some of these things, but I generally don't see trials as something I'm really happy with. Thinking about, I don't really understand all about this gold. Gold is a unique metal. You know, you can heat gold up with red hot, and you can maybe pour it into some sort of a mold, but it's the same amount of volume, the amount of it that's there. If you pour it in a mold, or if you let it, you heat it up again and pour it in a different mold, or pour it on the ground, whatever you do, it doesn't change anything about it. It's always, the way I understand it, it's always shiny. I had a friend when they, for some reason, his daddy said one day, people before them had built some funny little fences, some little small fences. And Daddy said, well, we boys got to tear the fences down. I'm going to send a little pin something like that. They went out there and started tearing those fences down, and they took the posts out of the ground, and the whole gold coins just fell everywhere. Somebody had buried gold coins right there under that post, and they were still shining. It's like it just been put in there. So gold is a material, a unique material. And he's talking about gold after you heat it, whatever you want to do with it, it doesn't seem to ever change. But it'll change here. It'll change when the time is right. Everything will change. But it seems like that he may not even be talking. He's talking about right now your activities and your business here will be solid and will be steadfast. But it says about gold being tried in fire, and it doesn't change when it's in fire. But it sounds like there's something that's not true. But I was reading something just this morning, and it says something that I understood what they were saying. A magnifying glass with the sun's light through this magnifying glass, you know how those you set things on fire, and we used to do it all the time when we were kids. But there's something that can be some sort of a liquid that can be put on the gold with the magnifying glass that actually change the structure of the gold. So the gold tried in the fire, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty much stable, but it can be changed. I'm just thinking about something, oftentimes it's kind of talking about putting gold, you know, it's highly valuable, and it is valuable. It's often valuable, probably the most valuable thing that stays valuable all over the world. And but I was just thinking about, you know, I don't know where it came from. Y'all probably heard it a long time ago. This rich man, he had so much faith and confidence in his gold when he was here on the earth. When it's time for him to die, he sacked him up the sack and got up to heaven with it. And when he got there, this guy saw him and said, what are you bringing that payment for? So it's not quite as valuable up there as it is here. The faith that these people had, it's just really hard to kind of put ourselves in the place of these people back there that had a faith and a hope that they had to do. And then he's talking about the faith of Jesus. Whom having not seen, you love. And whom, though now you see him, no, you see him not, yet believing. You rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory. So, I think that when we are mature enough, we hear about people being baptized, and baby being baptized, and all that. That's before I learned this foolishness. How can a baby be baptized for the remission of sins? But anyway, when we're mature enough, we are baptized. We have this faith, and hopefully our faith increases the older we get. So we find joy and comfort and peace and being in and with Jesus, as though we walk along. We've never seen him. These people have never seen him. They fully believe. And I hope we fully believe. If we don't fully believe, we might be sitting in the wrong assembly today. It's true, it's not that way. Faith is a blessing in itself. And it's something that we concentrate on, and we must do it, we must cultivate it, and we get better at it, and it increases, we're stronger. But just it's in itself. We find some comfort in knowing that I'm in a good place. I have appreciation for Jesus, and Jesus, because of that, he has at least some acknowledgement as being one of his. So there's no doubt some comfort in that, some comfort and joy in that. Receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your soul. So we won't see that end of it right now. There'll be a time it will come. It'll be the reward. You know, later in this chapter, it speaks about that that men be rewarded for their works, not rewarded them. We can't earn our salvation or anything like that, but we will be judged according to our works. And why would we do any kind of work? Why do we do any kind of work? Because there's some reason for it, but we expect some kind of reward for it. We work so many hours in our job, we expect to get payment at the end of that. But there's some reward for any kind of work, either good or evil. You can do something bad and expect set punishment for it. You can do good things, even things that you don't maybe get money for, just doing a good work for somebody. You know, sometimes you find an opportunity to just help somebody do something. And it's a good feeling in our mind and in our heart. For which salvation the prophets have inquired and served diligently to prophesy of the grace that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in him, did signify when it testified beforehand sufferings of Christ and the glory that should follow. That would be kind of a strange situation to be given by God's Spirit, be given insight in your mind, and with the expectation that you will go and share this with others. And that was their purpose, the prophet's purpose. That they would speak of the things that could become meaning about some of the other prophets. And oftentimes you see things directly pointing to Jesus when he would come. And so, you know, you wonder about, they would try to look into these things, and as much as they could, they would, obviously. But they didn't have a full picture. They didn't have a complete full picture. I wondered, you know, from time to time, you know, Abraham and various David and various ones in time past, it seems like that they were kind of special, you know, friends with God. And it seems like that God, he just put some things in their head that other men didn't have. Because man after God's own heart, that's saying, you know, a lot. I don't know whether these prophets had the insight that maybe even David did. You know, when the lady died, he said, I can go to him, he can't come to me, but I go to him. He had some insight, a lot of things that probably a lot of people back in those days didn't have. And I've often wondered about that the people being blood, Jesus' blood covers all men back that way and forward as well. And I've often wondered how these men, when it's none of our business, how they would be judged. But obviously there were some men that did good things and good works. And obviously there's a problem that didn't do, but they were men who did good works. So there were a lot of things that these prophets most likely really likely to know more about. And some probably did know quite a bit about it. Unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us, they did minister things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things angels God look into. So the prophets, no doubt, spoke things that would have to do with our dealings with Jesus after he came. And as far as the angels, I don't know where all that involves, but it says that they, you know, if the angels wanted to look into this, the angels weren't affected by it. They probably looked down and said, what men going about like this boat. Imagine they thought, what are you guys thinking? You know, God wants you to do this, and you're doing this. So, and they're right there in the throne room with God, you know, and they're looking around and thinking, what's with these people? So they looked into this astonishment, I guess, into this wonderful happenings that are going on right here on the earth. There may be something that kind of points to this. The cherubim there stood at the end of the ark, the covenant, and in the end of the tabernacle, they were turned like they were looking into this. So, in a sense, I guess it might be that even in those times that or all times, as far as that goes, that the angels were there, and they were always in, they're always not too far away. And sometimes, God would point his finger and say, destroy that whole Assyrian army. I need to tell them to go do something, or protect these little ones, watch over these ladies, things like that. Therefore, gird up the loins of your mind, be sober and hope to the end, for the grace that is to be brought unto you after the revelation of Jesus Christ. Gird up your loins. Well, in those times, they didn't wear the same kind of clothes that we wear, but I don't know how often wonder how in the world it worked. Did you see on TV that the people on the radio, they got them clothes and rags on their head, I know those guys are probably kind of loyalty, and other people probably don't dress like that. No, but it seems like that the gird up your loins, it seems like these long robes that guys that did work, even in those days, they would pull their robes up so they would restrict their movement and never working or anything. So when you get ready for your intent and accomplishing some work here, go gird them up and get ready to work. Gird up the loins of your mind. If they get control, be careful what you think. Sometimes I like to, I'll see things on the news, and I hear some of the things about some of these people hurting these kids. I'm going to go and help God with his revenge, but he just needed help. And I'm going to help him. I think about some of the things in the night, and I have to just stop and say, hold on. I don't need to be thinking about these things, and I have to, sometimes I have to concentrate literally if somebody is gone. Sometimes I think that, what's the one down there in the river bottom? You always turn sideways on the down your tractor if you're looking at the paper. He'd always be sitting on the side, but I think about him sometimes. I think about my daddy sometimes. I think about Susie Cadney sometimes. Just think about these people here. They did good all their life. I wonder if they ever never got an equal fault. I've seen my daddy get angry at people and he would shake his finger, explain things real clearly. But I never saw him use any kind of bad word or language or anything like that. So we have control of our minds. We can control what we think and our intent of our mind and heart. And he said, be sober, be careful. Oftentimes, whenever sometimes we have a funeral, you think, we're really sad when you hear that somebody passed. But when you start thinking soberly and seriously, these people are far better off. These people are at peace. They're in a comfortable place. And because, and if and when we can do these things, we can be sober. We can have control of our minds. Think things and do things that are good and right. We can have this hope that there'll be a time that you'll need peace. I think I'm going to stop right here, kind of in the middle of the chapter, and listen to us.